Welcome to The Explainer. Sometimes complex topics can feel a little overwhelming. Our goal here is to turn them into clear, visual guides. So today, we're going to tackle the journey to financial clarity. We're mapping out the personal financial planning process.
Look, if you've ever wondered how you're supposed to navigate today's really complex financial world, trust me, you are not alone. It can seriously feel like you're trying to find your way in a new city without a map.
And that landscape? Well, it's definitely getting trickier. I mean, we're all dealing with this perfect storm of rising costs for literally everything: housing, education, you name it. At the same time, household debt is at a record high. And to top it all off, we're living longer, which is great, but it means our retirement savings have to stretch way further than they ever did before.
So, when the path forward isn't super clear, it really helps to have an experienced guide, right? Someone who knows the terrain. So let's talk about that expert who can help you navigate this landscape, the financial advisor.
Okay, so you've decided you need a guide. Awesome. But how do you pick the right one? Well, the absolute most important thing in this kind of professional relationship is a rock-solid foundation of trust and ethics. This isn't just about a firm handshake, It's about a real code of honor.
This quote right here, it really gets to the heart of the whole thing. The core idea is that your interests have to come first, always. And this is so crucial because it protects you from advice that might actually benefit the advisor more than it benefits you. This isn't just some nice idea either. It's all laid out in a strict code of ethics that every single certified professional has to follow. And these principles on the slide, this is what creates that whole framework of trust. It all starts with putting the client first, which we just talked about. But then you have integrity, which just means they hold themselves to high moral standards. Competence makes sure they actually have the skills and knowledge to guide you. Confidentiality, that one's huge. It protects your sensitive information. And finally, objectivity, which guarantees the advice you get is totally impartial and based on good judgment, not some sales quota.
So here's the bottom line, the most crucial point. This client-first approach means every single piece of advice, every recommendation they make has to be centered on what is truly best for you, not what's best for them, not what's best for their company, for you.
Okay, so with that ethical foundation firmly in place, the entire professional journey follows this proven 6-step map. We're going to walk through every single one, from just getting to know each other all the way to checking in down the road. This whole structured process makes sure everything is thorough, it's personalized, and absolutely nothing gets left to chance.
Let's dive into the first part of the process and really see how this builds your personal financial map. These first few steps are all about discovery, figuring out where you are right now and where you want to go.
Now, to draw an accurate map, your guide needs the whole picture, and that means getting two different types of information. On one hand, you've got the quantitative data, the hard numbers, your income, your assets, your debts. But just as important, if not more so, is the qualitative data. That's the why behind it all. What are your goals, your dreams? What are your fears about money? It's the story behind the numbers. And here's the thing. Our relationship with money isn't set in stone. It changes. This is perfectly illustrated by what's called the life cycle approach. It basically shows that as we go through different stages of life, our financial priorities and even our willingness to take risks, well, they naturally shift. Think about it. Someone just starting their career, they're probably focused on growth and can handle more risk. But someone who's getting close to retirement, they're likely going to be all about preserving what they've built, with much lower risk investments. So, you've gathered all this information, but then you hit a potential roadblock. The analysis might show that one of your big goals, say retiring at a certain age, just doesn't look possible with your current situation. This is exactly where a professional guide becomes totally invaluable.
Step 3 is all about that deep analysis. And a huge part of that is finding realistic solutions. If a goal seems out of reach, it doesn't mean you just give up. It means you recalibrate. As you can see in this table, an advisor can suggest real concrete adjustments. For something like financing a child's education, they might suggest setting up an RSP, a registered education savings plan that lets your savings grow tax-free. It's all about finding those practical, smart paths to get you to your goals.
All right, the analysis is done. You have a clear map in your hands. Now it's time for the exciting part, charting the course forward and actually starting the journey with steps 4, 5, and 6.
So in step 4, your advisor presents their recommendations. And listen, this is a real collaboration. It's a two-way street. The advice has to be specific to you, explained clearly, and discussed openly. You should feel totally empowered to ask questions and tweak the plan together until it feels exactly right for you.
You know, a plan is really just a piece of paper until you actually do something with it. Step 5 is implementation. This is where the plan comes to life. This is the action step. It's where you might start making those regular investments, kick off a strategy to pay down debt, or apply for that insurance your family needs.
And finally, and this is so important, financial planning is not a set it and forget it kind of thing. Not at all. It's a dynamic, ongoing journey. Step 6 is all about those periodic reviews. Because life happens, right? You might get a new job, get married, have a kid. Regular check-ins make sure your financial plan adapts and evolves right along with you.
And that's it. 6 core steps. When you break it all down into a clear process, it's actually pretty straightforward, isn't it?
So the real key takeaway from all this is that financial planning isn't some big mystery. As we've seen, it's a structured journey and it's a collaborative partnership. It's built on a solid ethical foundation that always puts you first, and it's designed to be flexible and adjust as your life changes. It's a system that can take financial uncertainty and turn it into real clarity, empowering you with control over your own future.
Thanks for joining us for this explainer. We've laid out the map and we've walked through the steps of the journey. So the only question left to ask is about your own financial path. What's your first step going to be?